72 hours. That's all it takes for society to unravel. Not weeks, not months, just 3 days. The blackout itself isn't what destroys you, it's what comes after. You can survive the darkness, but can you survive what follows? This is your decision point. Stay put, and your home becomes a target. Bug out, and the roads turn into traps. Either way, hesitation costs you. And don't make the mistake of thinking law and order vanish overnight. There will still be patrols, militias, fragments of authority trying to hold the line. If you use force recklessly, when order finally returns, you'll pay the price. That's why true survival isn't about firepower. It's about strategy. Layered defense, silent OPSEC, neighbors you can trust, and the hardest test of all, compassion. Do you share what little you have, or do you guard it for your own? One wrong choice, and you risk everything. By the end of the 72 hours, one thing is certain. The old world is gone. The shock has passed. Now begins the fight for survival. The blackout is just the spark. The real collapse comes after, and it won't wait. Surviving the first 72 hours is only the start. In a nationwide blackout, survival shifts, and it shifts fast. You're no longer in emergency mode, you're in the grind. By the end of week 1, it's clear. Power, water, and security aren't coming back anytime soon. Now the fight is about long-term survival. Safe energy, clean water, solid OPSEC, and a routine that keeps you focused instead of falling apart. Let's start with power. Generators in your neighborhood? Silent. Fuel is gone or too risky to run. Nights are black. Batteries drained. Comfort stripped away. And yet, even a spark now changes everything. A light in the dark. A charged radio. A fridge keeping medicine cold. The rule is simple. Keep power minimal, silent, safe, and disciplined. Your vehicle can be that lifeline. With a DC to AC inverter, your 12-volt battery becomes a survival tool. 300 watts keeps radios, lanterns, or a fan alive. Push to 1,000 and maybe a fridge, but at the cost of fuel, noise, and risk. Always outside, always ventilated, and remember, sound carries. Use it sparingly, use it smart. Solar is the real gold. A small panel and a battery bank mean steady, silent power. Enough for lights, comms, and morale. Larger solar setups? Well, they're game changers. Energy every day, no fuel needed. But hide your panels. A roof or fenced yard is safer than open display. And ration your use. Charge by day, save power for night. In collapse, electricity isn't comfort. It's survival. Quiet, careful, controlled. When the grid is gone, darkness wins fast. Your flashlight flickers, your radio dies. And suddenly, you're cut off, blind and deaf in a world that's already turning hostile. But here's the truth. With smart battery management, you don't have to go dark. Start with rotation. Keep your strongest batteries for what matters most. Radios, medical gear, and anything that keeps you alive. If you've got rechargeables with a solar charger, those become gold. Dim your lanterns, conserve every bit of juice, and scavenge extras where you can. Remotes, toys, forgotten drawers, most homes hide a small fortune in unused batteries. Trade if you must. Every AA you secure is another night of light. And then there's the generator. Yes, it's power on demand, but in a blackout, it's also a siren call. Resources here. If you run it, you paint a target on your home. Use it rarely, use it smart. 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour at night. Enough to chill a fridge, pump a well, or charge a bank of batteries. Always outside, always ventilated, and always guarded because a stolen generator can end your survival plan overnight. Light itself becomes strategy. LEDs are efficient, quiet, and invisible beyond your walls. Rig a car battery to LED strips, and you can light a room for nights on end. But be careful with candles and oil lamps. Fires kill more families in blackouts than the dark ever will. If you use them wisely. Better yet, let the night guide your rhythm. Sleep when it's dark, rise when it's light, conserve, adapt, survive. Because in a prolonged collapse, every spark matters. And when the cold sets in, it kills faster than hunger. Lose heat, and your body shuts down, quietly and quickly. That's why in a blackout winter, warmth is survival. If you're lucky enough to have a fireplace or wood stove, that's your lifeline. But ration carefully. Burn only when you need to. Use every log wisely. Wood stove also doubles as your kitchen, boiling water, cooking meals, keeping the household alive. No fireplace? Then improvise. Never ever burn charcoal or propane indoors. It'll poison the air before it warms you. Instead, trap body heat. Pitch a tent right in your living room. Sleep close and under heavy blankets. Your ancestors did it, and it works. Cooking becomes just as critical. Propane stoves, grills, even a rocket stove you built from scraps, they all can cook meals and boil water. But every fire is a signal. Light, sound, and especially the smell of hot food draws desperate attention. So conceal it. Cook at odd hours. Mask the glow. Dig a Dakota fire hole. Low smoke, low profile, invisible to most. In a world of empty stomachs, silence and stealth are survival. And don't neglect your gear. A clean generator runs longer. Solar panels need clear glass. Batteries last if you respect their limits. Small acts of care keep your tools alive when you need them the most. A blackout strips away luxury, but smart prepping gives you power, warmth, and meals on the table. Enough to carry while others falter. But even when you master heat and food, one resource matters more than all the rest. Water. Water isn't just important, it's survival. By week 1, your stored supply is running out, and when water goes, disease follows. Diarrhea, infection, dehydration, these spread faster than hunger ever could. Ignore it, and you won't make it to week 2. So, what's your move? You find new water, and you make it safe. Natural sources are everywhere if you know where to look. Streams, ponds, lakes, even the rain falling off your roof. In the city, it might be a park fountain or pond. In the suburbs, a creek or farm reservoir. Rainwater is gold. Catch it in buckets, funnels, or off your gutters. But never assume it's clean. Always treat it. Man-made reserves can save you too. The tank on your water heater, the clean water in your toilet tank, swimming pools, school boilers, even forgotten storage tanks. They're not pretty, but in a crisis, they're lifelines. And don't overlook the hidden sources. The liquid inside canned vegetables, a makeshift solar still pulling moisture from plants or dirty water. Yield is small, but in collapse, every drop counts. But here's the hard rule. If it's untreated, don't drink it. Waterborne illness kills more survivors than the disaster itself. Filters like Sawyer or Life Straw can turn even swamp water into something safe. No filter, you boil it, 1 full rolling minute, 3 at high elevation. Then cover and cool. If you're running low on fuel, use bleach. 8 drops per gallon of clean water. Stir and wait 30 minutes. If it's cloudy, double the dose and strain it through cloth first. Because in a blackout, water is life. And if you keep it clean, you keep control. Clean water keeps you safe. And dirty water, or worse, poor sanitation, can kill you just as fast. By week 1, toilets stop working. Sewers back up, and then comes disease. In collapse, outbreaks don't wait months. They start in days. The rule is simple. 2 grades of water. 1 fully purified, only for drinking and cooking. The other, non-potable, for washing, cleaning, or flushing. Guard your clean water like treasure, and use the rest wisely. And forget about using the toilet like before. Without power, treatment plants are offline. Pumps fail, and sewage rises. That porcelain bowl in your bathroom, it's a trap. Switch now to a survival system. The twin bucket method works best. 1 for urine and 1 for feces. Separate them, and you cut down the odor, flies, and sickness. Urine is sterile in most cases, can be diluted and poured on soil, even used to feed plants. Feces is the danger. Line that bucket with a heavy-duty bag, and cover each use with dry material like wood ash, dirt, or shredded paper. When it's half full, tie it off and bury it deep or store it securely away from water and the living space. If you're in an apartment or tight urban zone, you may not be able to bury it. If that's the case, bag, seal, and store in a dedicated container far from where you live. Authorities often step in after weeks with pickup or disposal plans, but don't count on it. No buckets? Line your toilet bowl with a bag, but strip the water out first. It's less efficient, but it works. A snap-on seat for a bucket is far better and worth prepping in advance. The last line of defense is hygiene. After every use, wash or sanitize. Keep a bleach solution ready to rinse buckets. Keep hand sanitizer right there at the station. One careless moment, one skipped wash, and sickness spreads through your whole group. Because in collapse, waste isn't dirty, It's deadly. Rot spreads faster than you think. Trash piles up, flies swarm, and rats follow. And once disease sets in, it moves quicker than hunger or thirst. In collapse, poor sanitation isn't just unpleasant, it's dangerous. So you manage it, you control it. You start with waste. Food scraps and organics. If you've got a yard, bury them a foot deep, far from your home, so animals don't dig them up. No yard? Seal them in buckets or bags, or work with the neighbors to create a communal pit. Never let rot sit where you live. Plastics, cans, and glass? Rinse them with gray water to cut the smell. Store them outside if you can. Some items are assets, like jars, bottles, even cans can be reused for storage or tools. Medical waste, though, is different. Burn it if possible, or double bag and separate it. Don't handle it twice. If weeks pass with no collection, a burn barrel reduces volume. Paper and cardboard go first. Plastics release fumes, so avoid it when you can, but sometimes necessity wins. Always downwind, always cautious. Then there's you. Personal hygiene isn't luxury, it's survival. Wash every few days, even if it's just a sponge bath with a cup of water. Keep hands, face, armpits, groin, and feet clean. Baby wipes and towelettes work if that's all you've got. Brush your teeth no matter what. Salt or baking soda beats nothing. A small infection in your mouth can take you down hard. Wash clothes when you can, or at least air them in sunlight. Nature's disinfectant. And don't forget the pests. Flies spread disease straight from waste to your food. Keep trash sealed, food covered, and use traps or fly tape. Dump stagnant water to stop mosquitoes. Keep food in sealed containers to deny mice and rats. If you've got traps, well, set them. If you've got cats, even better. Collapse breeds filth, but with discipline, you can stay ahead of it. And once the basics are controlled, survival depends on the next lifeline: communication. You can survive without light, and you can survive without heat, but if you're blind to what's happening beyond your street, you're already in danger. In a long-term EMP collapse, information is survival. Rumors spread faster than truth. Miss one real announcement, and you might miss aid, routes to safety, or warnings about new threats. In chaos, what you know can keep you alive. That's why your radio is a lifeline. AM stations and NOAA weather bands carry farther than most signals, and they'll be the first to come back online as well. By week 1, expect FEMA, the National Guard, or local authorities to push out broadcasts. Maybe not on familiar stations, but on whatever transmitters still work. So, make it routine. Scan the dial at least 3 times a day: morning, midday, evening. At night, AM signals bounce farther. From the East Coast, you might hear the Midwest. Keep a notebook. Write down every frequency, every message. If you hear nothing, don't assume the worst. Your unit could be damaged, or you could be sitting in a signal shadow. Try different radios, different antennas, even check with neighbors. The U.S. Emergency Alert System was built for moments like this. FEMA or the President can push messages through any surviving channel. Even NOAA weather radio, normally just forecasts, can be repurposed to carry civil emergency updates. That's why those 162 MHz frequencies matter. If you have the receiver, monitor them. Because in collapse, ignorance is as deadly as thirst. And the better you listen, the better you prepare. Loose talk can get you hurt, and silence can get you killed. In a collapse, communication isn't just useful, it's survival. If you've got a ham radio, or even just a shortwave receiver, you hold an edge. Overseas broadcasts like the BBC or other nations might be your only window into how the world is responding. You don't need a license to listen, and listening can mean the difference between isolation and awareness. Closer to home, local ham operators may form emergency nets on VHF, UHF, or shortwave. These groups often stay up when everything else is silent. Even a simple walkie-talkie, FRS or GMRS, can keep a neighborhood connected if you agree on a channel. Just remember, nothing on these bands is private. Anyone can listen. CB radios, too, can carry critical chatter. Channel 9 for emergencies, 19 for truckers. If any vehicles are still moving, you might catch vital news. But radios aren't the only network. Word of mouth, bulletin boards, daily check-ins with neighbors, these become lifelines. Imagine a 5 p.m. meetup at the corner, where each household shares what they heard on the air. One person with a working ham set could bring updates from across the country. A church, firehouse, or precinct might post official notices, water distribution points, relief info, or curfews. If they exist, check them. And be cautious. In the vacuum of media, rumors spread like wildfire. Some will be harmless, and others can trigger panic. Verify before you act. If something sounds extreme or too convenient, question it. Look for confirmation from at least 2 sources. Prepping isn't just stockpiling, it's clear thinking when others lose theirs. If your family is scattered, don't give up. Amateur radio networks have long relayed short health and welfare messages in disasters. Find a ham operator willing to help, and you might get a note out of state, short, calm, and to the point. Enough to let loved ones know you're alive and what you need. In collapse, comms are survival multipliers. They give you foresight, connection, and the power to act before others even know what's coming. Once you control the flow of information, the next battle begins, protecting your home and your community from those who come looking. Because information is power. Lose it, and you're blind. Keep it, and you stay ahead. Even in a nationwide blackout, your phone or tablet isn't dead weight. Offline maps, stored PDFs, survival manuals, they guide you when your memory fades. A smartphone can even serve as a flash drive, carrying vital data if you move between safe zones. And if cell service flickers back on, even for a moment, you'll want that device ready. So protect your power, switch devices off or use airplane mode when idle. Turn them on only at set times. Radios too, don't drain batteries by listening non-stop. Discipline keeps them alive. Build a comms routine you can count on. In the morning, scan AM and NOAA channels as the day begins, and trade quick updates with neighbors. By midday, check again. Broadcasts may surface, or local chatter might break through on CB. And in the evening, when AM signals reach farthest, listen closely. Officials often time alerts for nightfall when households are gathered. Then share what you've learned with your family, and set tomorrow's plan before the dark takes over. Hand crank and pedal-powered radios shine here. They never run out, and many double as flashlights or chargers. In collapse, multi-use gear is gold. Sometimes listening isn't enough. You need to be heard. Two-way comms are ideal, but if you're cut off, you improvise. Lay out distress signals in plain view. Use whistles or horns to call for nearby help. Light a flare or build a fire if you know rescuers are close. And if FEMA or relief centers open within reach, weigh the risk carefully. But remember, they can be a lifeline. Because communication is more than information. It's survival, silent when it must be, and loud when it matters most. But never forget, every signal you send can also be picked up by the wrong people. And that's where OPSEC begins. Hey, quick break here. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and share it with someone who might find it useful. Alright, let's get back to the video. Comfort attracts attention, and attention draws danger. And in a prolonged collapse, the line between friend and threat shifts fast. Security is never static. On one side, survival is easier together. Neighbors can share labor, skills, and protection. And on the other, scarcity breeds desperation, and even good people can make dangerous choices when pushed too far. Balancing cooperation with discretion, this is OPSEC. And in weeks 1 through 4, it's the difference between safety and risk. Let's start with the good. Most of your neighbors are decent people caught in a bad situation, and together, you're stronger. A group deters thieves better than a lone household. Organize a quiet neighborhood watch, share the load, fetching water, gathering firewood, and checking on the vulnerable. After hurricanes, communities barbecue thawing food and feed everyone, and keep an eye out for looters. You can do the same. Identify who brings what to the table. A veteran with security know-how, a nurse who can be a medic, a handyman who can fix what breaks. Organized communities survive better. History proves it. Cooperation doesn't mean blind trust, though. OPSEC means protecting your cards, even from allies. Don't reveal your full preps. Start small, help with labor, share something minor, and watch how people act under pressure. Desperation changes relationships, and a neighborhood today can be a threat tomorrow if their family is starving and they know you have food. So, play the role, stand in line for aid like everyone else. Project that you're struggling, never flaunt fuel, never show off comfort. Blend in publicly, secure quietly. Because in a prolonged collapse, security is never simple. On one side, you need cooperation. Neighbors share skills, standing guard, protecting each other. On the other, scarcity breeds danger. That's where OPSEC comes in. Balancing cooperation with caution is the only way through weeks 1 to 4. Most of your neighbors are good people in a bad situation, and together, you're stronger. A group deters thieves far better than a lone household. If trust already exists where you live, build on it. Form a quiet watch, rotate night shifts, share the burden of hauling water and firewood, check on the vulnerable. After hurricanes, communities have done just that, feeding everyone, then standing guard as one. Organized groups don't just survive, they endure. But unity doesn't erase risk. OPSEC still matters. Never reveal anything. Don't bring people into your home without reason. Keep distance, keep control. Even if you're well supplied, still line up for aid. Look like you're in the same fight. Drop a casual, running low. Hope this ends soon, even if you're fine. The goal is simple. Blend in, avoid envy, avoid targeting. Because in collapse, survival isn't just about what you've stored, it's about what others think you have. By week 2, goodwill fades. By week 3, desperation rules. And when order thins, predators move in. Small crews prowl for easy prey. And police, they're overrun. And radios, they're probably dead. Families have their own to protect, and in a nationwide EMP, no badge is coming. That means your job is simple. Don't look like prey. Keep your home looking lived in, but low value. During the day, be visible doing chores around the property. At night, let a faint glow show someone's home, but never enough to advertise comfort. A dark, silent house invites intrusion. A house that's lit like a fortress screams valuables inside. You want the balance, occupied, but not rich. If you trust nearby households, you may even pull together at night. 1 or 2 homes defended are stronger than many spread thin. And yes, empty houses may get looted, but together, you're harder to touch. Fortify quietly, reinforce doors with wedges or bars. Block windows from inside with furniture or boards. Lay noisy obstacles like chairs, bottles, gravel, where intruders might step. Make your defenses felt and not seen. And weapons? In America, many rely on firearms. They can be a strong deterrent, but remember, deadly force is the very last resort and always bound by local laws. Often, just a presence or a warning is enough to send looters away. This isn't about aggression, it's about prevention. If you don't have guns, there are safer alternatives, like bats, heavy sticks, pepper spray, even flashlights paired with loud voices. Numbers and noise alone can drive intruders back. Early warning matters most. Hang cans or chimes on approaches. Scatter gravel or sticks under windows. And a dog? Better than any alarm. Even a small bark sends a clear message. We're awake, and we're ready. In collapse, looters hunt for the easiest score. Your job is simple. Don't be that. Helping others feels right, and sometimes it is. But in a collapse, kindness can get you killed. Every act of charity exposes you, and every handout paints a target on your back. If you share food, disguise it. Call it today's extra, never I've got more. Show the scrap, never the stockpile. Because the second people sense you have reserves, desperation turns you into their solution. And yes, if you trust your group, you might become the quartermaster. You provide food, they provide defense or skills. That pact can work, but with strangers, that's not a pact, that's a gamble. And in a collapse, gambles cost lives. So, protect your reserves. Don't keep everything in one pantry. Hide caches, crawl spaces, sealed containers in the yard, or other spots thieves won't check. If someone raids your kitchen, you shouldn't lose it all. And remember, outsiders will come. By week 2 or 3, people from other towns may drift in, searching. If you live near a highway or relief center, expect it sooner. Treat strangers with caution and approach as a team, never alone. Read their body language. Are they desperate parents or scouts sizing you up? Have a clear policy, who meets them, how to respond, and how to disengage safely. If authorities return, like the National Guard, police, or emergency volunteers, make sure to cooperate. They may set curfews, checkpoints, or even organize local defense. Coordination can ease the burden and bring structure back to chaos. But security isn't only about walls and weapons. It's about mindset. Stress turns small disputes into big threats. Neighbors argue, families clash, and when everyone's armed or exhausted, things can escalate fast. Be the calming voice. Diffuse disputes. Use fairness and mediation when you can. Remind your group, the enemy is the situation, not each other. When the grid collapses, chaos doesn't wait. Survival isn't just supplies or defenses. It's discipline, resilience, control, and your best defense is routine. A daily schedule gives you structure, purpose, and a calm in a grid-down life. It keeps critical tasks from slipping and keeps panic from taking over. In collapse, that kind of order is survival. At first light, the day begins. Mornings matter more than ever. You've got energy, you've got daylight. Use both. Eat a modest breakfast and make the heat do double duty. Warm a pot for washing and fill a thermos you'll lean on later. Every flame should serve 2 jobs. Water comes next. Early is safer and cooler, and the routes are clearer. If you need a stream or the community pump, go before the heat and the lines. Treat what you bring back right away. Boil, bleach, or filter, so by evening it's ready to drink. A quick wash, face, hands, feet. It keeps infection from getting a foothold and lifts morale more than you think. Then, rally the household. A 2-minute huddle sets the tone. Share what the radio gave you overnight and assign the day's work. Who gathers firewood, who handles laundry, and who keeps a casual eye on the perimeter. Before anyone steps out, check the essentials. Fuel, panels, tools. Small checks now prevent big failures later. By late morning, the rhythm shifts from planning to production. You gather what the day will need while the sun is high. You tend a small garden, check a trap, or cast a line. Every calorie earned is one you don't burn from storage. Security threads through everything. One person always looking, never tense, never sloppy, just steady awareness while others work. Rotate often to keep minds sharp, and pace yourself. In summer, the midday sun punishes the proud. Find shade, hydrate, and take a short reset so the afternoon isn't a mistake waiting to happen. In winter, use the noon warmth to knock out the hardest outdoor jobs. Work with the season, not against it. Because without a routine, days blur. And when days blur, mistakes happen. And in a collapse, mistakes don't forgive. As the light starts to fade, the rules change again. Evening is your reset, and the night is the test. Evening brings its own dangers as well. Darkness changes everything, so your final hours of daylight matter most. Before the sun dips, cook your main meal. Use the day's ration while you still have light. A warm dinner fuels the body, steadies the mind. It makes the cold night easier to face. This is also the time for connection. Share a moment with neighbors if trust exists. Swap stories, trade small items, lift morale. Even in a crisis, community bonds can keep spirits alive. Before night fully settles, secure everything. Put food away tight, bring clothes off the line, pack up tools, and keep pests at bay. Change toilet buckets if needed. Wash hands one last time. These small steps stop disease from creeping in while you sleep. As dusk falls, shift into night mode. Doors locked, windows covered. Decide who keeps first watch. Talk through the plan so even children know what to do if something breaks the silence. A quiet lantern, an early curfew, and a consistent sleep schedule will help guard both mind and body. Overnight, the goal is rest, but never total sleep. If you have numbers, rotate short watch shifts. One awake, listening, ready to rouse the rest if needed. Alone or in pairs, rely on alarms, dogs, noisemakers, or makeshift trip lines. The night is when you're most vulnerable, and fatigue is a killer, so guard against it. Always remember, routine is power, but flexibility is survival. If relief arrives, adapt your day around it. If threats come at the same hour each night, shift your watch to meet them. Structure keeps you grounded, but adaptability keeps you alive. Even in the grind, morale matters. Read a page from a book. Share one good thought after a meal. Play a card game by lantern light. And if you have children, keep them on simple routines. In chaos, structure is safety. Because survival isn't just food and fire, it's protecting hope. And even in collapse, don't just endure. Leave a record. Write it down. The weather, the water you used, the news you heard. Because memory fades under stress, and paper doesn't. By week 4, if you've rationed power, purified water, managed sanitation, held security, and kept morale alive, you've done more than just survive. You've adapted. You've built a way of life that can carry into weeks and months ahead, and history proves resilience. People have endured famine, wars, and disasters, and the people who endured weren't always the strongest. They're the ones who stayed resourceful, who worked with neighbors, who refused to let despair win. That's your path forward too. Now you know what really fails in an EMP and what doesn't. You know how to master the first 72 hours and how to grind through the first month. Instead of rumors, you have facts. Instead of fear, you have a plan. So, take stock, sharpen your preps, practice your skills, purifying water, guarding OPSEC, building routine. These aren't tricks. They're the disciplines that keep you alive when the grid is gone. Because when the worst comes, you won't just endure it, you'll outlast it, stronger, calmer, ready to protect those you love. Preparedness isn't panic, it's power, and now it's yours. Hey, if this video gave you value, hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell, and share it with someone you'd want prepared when the grid goes down. Preparedness grows stronger when it's shared. Stay safe, stay ready, and I'll see you in the next video.